All right, welcome everyone to today's explainer. We are jumping right into an absolutely wild and deeply emotional story today. It's titled Jungle Dhaba, a tale of betrayal, resilience, and truth. We're going to be tracing the remarkable journey of a young guy named Manu and his mother, Chavi, as their lives are pretty much turned completely upside down. So, I want you to think about this for a second. What actually happens when a family is punished for a crime they didn't even commit? Imagine waking up and literally losing everything. Your home, your reputation, your entire community. Literally, overnight, all because of a massive assumption. It's a devastating scenario, but it pulls us right into the central conflict of Manu's life. It really shows you just how fragile trust can be. The village exile. Facing an unjust punishment. Okay, so the spark for this whole journey is just brutal. Manu and his mother Chavi are suddenly dragged out before the village council, the panchayat. And they're totally humiliated in front of people they've known their entire lives. The villagers are absolutely furious, demanding immediate repayment for this huge debt that Manu and Chavi know literally nothing about. To understand why, we have to look at this timeline. It all started with Manu's dad, Rakesh. Now, Rakesh was a highly respected village teacher. On day one, he pitches this genuinely great idea: buying solar panels to solve the village's major electricity and irrigation issues. The village loves it. So by day two, leveraging all that trust he built up, he collects 8 to 10 lakh rupees from the hardworking farmers. For a small village, that is a staggering amount of money. But then, day 5 hits, and Rakesh just disappears without a trace. By day 7, unable to reach him, the village assumes the absolute worst. They conclude he scammed them, and they decide to punish his innocent family. Which brings us to this incredibly harsh quote from the village sarpanch. He ruthlessly tells them, he ran away with the money, so you must leave the village right now. No trial, no benefit of the doubt, without a single penny to their name and completely heartbroken by these accusations against a husband and father they trusted, Manu and Chavi are basically kicked to the curb. They're forced to wander out into the surrounding wilderness just to survive. Moving on to meeting the Veda tribe, kindness in the dark jungle. So Manu and Chavi are starving, they're lost, and they are terrified as night falls in this deep, completely unfamiliar jungle. But, right when things seem utterly hopeless, they cross paths with a man named Timba. And this one chance encounter in the dark totally shifts the trajectory of their lives. Timba is part of the Veda tribe. Now, they live way deep in the jungle. They wear these very unique traditional clothes. But here is the most crucial thing for Manu and Chavi. They follow a strict, unbreakable cultural rule that they absolutely must feed the hungry. Timba takes them right in. He serves them these incredible traditional dishes. We're talking banana curry, potato rice, this fiery eggplant tomato chutney, and it's all cooked with secret ancestral spices that are completely unique to their tribe. The jungle Dhaba, rising from the ashes. Tasting this incredible food actually sparks a fire in Manu. He just refuses to live his life in shame. He comes up with this brilliant idea to pay off his father's supposed debt. What if they take this mind-blowing tribal food and sell it back to the surrounding villages? With Timba's blessing and a little help throwing together a simple cart, an unexpected business is born. But here's the logistical nightmare, right? How do you keep food hot on a wandering cart for hours without any electricity? Well, they use this genius bit of indigenous engineering. Step 1, they put the piping hot food into traditional clay pots. Step 2, they place those pots inside a specially crafted wooden box. And step 3, they cover the whole thing with grass. It sounds simple, but this natural thermal insulation actually keeps the food hot for 6 to 7 hours. It's such a smart, sustainable solution. And wow, it completely takes off. The food cart becomes an absolute instant hit. The villagers out there have never tasted anything quite like these ancestral spices before. Huge crowds start showing up day after day for the potato rice and banana curry. Over several months, they actually save enough cash to upgrade from this little wandering cart to permanent establishment. The highly successful Jungle Dhaba is officially born, and Manu and Chavi finally regain their footing. Next chapter, the Great Flood. Disaster strikes Rosapur. Literally, right as they find some stability and success, terrible news reaches the Dhaba. A devastating flood has struck Rojapur. And remember, that's the very same village that cruelly exiled them. The floodwaters have just decimated the farms, submerged the houses, and left all their former neighbors totally homeless and starving. This sets up such a wild moral contrast. Just look at the villagers' past actions. They exiled Manu and Chavi when they were at their absolute lowest, right? No mercy whatsoever. Yet, look at Manu's present actions. Instead of ignoring them or, gloating, Manu rushes straight back into the flooded village. He brings everyone back to his Dhaba and offers them completely free food and shelter. It's honestly an astonishing display of forgiveness. 2 whole months. Just let that sink in for a second. That is how long Manu and his mother house and feed the entire village for free. It's a massive sacrifice. I mean, providing daily hot meals for dozens of people for 2 straight months completely drains their hard-earned savings. By saving the very people who wronged them, the Jungle Dhaba is pushed right back to the brink of bankruptcy. Which brings us to the tragic truth, the police inspector's revelation. Literally, right as Manu is scraping the bottom of the barrel just to buy basic cooking supplies, a police jeep suddenly pulls up to the Dhaba. An inspector steps out, walks right up to Manu, and hands him a heavy bag. And what's inside? The massive sum of 8 to 10 lakh rupees that went missing all those months ago. And suddenly we are hit with this massive question. Did Rakesh really run away with the village's money? For this entire story, everyone, the village, Manu, even us looking at the explainer, we've all operated on the firm assumption that the father was a thief. But the arrival of this police inspector turns everything we thought we knew completely upside down. The inspector looks at them and drops this absolutely heartbreaking quote. He says, "Rakesh didn't run, he was fighting." I mean, think about the weight of those words. The man was never a coward. He wasn't a scammer. He was a guy who fought until his very last breath for the people he cared about. So here is the actual true story of Rakesh. Turns out he was completely betrayed by the supplier who promised those solar panels. When that supplier vanished with all the village's funds, Rakesh didn't go home, simply because he couldn't bear to face the villagers empty-handed. Instead, he tracked these dangerous scammers down entirely on his own. He managed to alert the police to their hideout, but tragically, the scammers found him and murdered him right before the cops could get there. Because of his tip, though, the police busted the ring, recovered all the money, and saved countless other villages from the exact same scam. The final act, a father's legacy, honoring the ultimate sacrifice. When the inspector brings the village together and reveals this devastating truth, the reaction is just profound. The villagers completely break down in tears. It hits them all at once. The man they cursed actually died trying to save them, and the family they threw out had just spent 2 months keeping them alive. Overwhelmed with guilt, they just beg Manu and Chavi for forgiveness. And it all comes full circle in just the best way possible. The villagers, who are so deeply remorseful, insist that Manu keep the recovered money so he can rebuild his life. With their family's honor finally fully restored, Manu takes those funds and opens a grand new restaurant right in the heart of their rightful home village. He proudly names it the Rakesh Dhaba, locking in his father's heroic legacy forever. So I want to leave you with this question to chew on. How far would you go to clear your family's name through sheer resilience and kindness? The truth almost always finds a way to the light, but it's the grace we show during our absolute darkest times that truly defines who we are. Thank you guys so much for joining me to unpack this explainer today. Keep questioning, keep learning, and I will catch you in the next one.